You're listening to Health Coach Conversations, a podcast where our conversations help health coaches all around the world to level up our businesses and to get more clients.
Let me just start here. Okay, who are your main clients and what motivates them to seek the health coaching business development services and programs?
Okay, if I forget the second half, remind me. I'll start off with my main clients, health coaches. And we originally started out just with health coaches, and we found that half of our clients or more were nurses and doctors and mental health specialists and dietitians and nutritionists. What else do we have? We have clergy. So we have anybody who works in health, wellness, or even life coaching.
You have teachers, educators
Oh yes, we have a lot of teachers. We also help a lot of teachers, especially like with our stress program, but I'm getting off the topic. Why do they come to us? Because we have set things up to be able to give them a lot of shortcuts and a lot of guidance to get from the beginning to the end, or to start at the middle where a lot of people are. With COVID, we all of a sudden had a lot of med spa owners who had to go home but still needed to make a living. And so we helped them to get online. We have scientists. We have, as a matter of fact, I'm interviewing a scientist later today.
You'll have fun.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited about it. We've got people in neuro wellness, and we started out by providing jobs for health coaches. And then because we've developed programs for our coaches to use, because I couldn't stand handing out those white sheets of paper that were so ugly. So I wanted something that would help develop not only look pretty, but I also think that it helps a health coach to have something that helps the client to come to the conclusion on their own. And so by giving them educational material and then workbooks to work through it on their own, and then other ways to learn paper, where they're reading it or hearing it on audio or seeing it on video, it helps them to learn. And so, and then we actually developed courses and I probably did this in between. My first thing I noticed was that there were no jobs in the beginning. There were no health coach jobs. And so I created the business planning course, and I actually did that and then redid it. I had a person from a Fortune 500 company come in and work through it and make it a little bit better than what I did. And I learned a lot from that, because I learned that I could do a lot of collaboration and make everything that we did a lot better. And so we went from that to having physician approval on the programs, because some of the programs we created, just that solves a problem for the health coach for credibility. And not all health coaches think that doctors know more than what they do, but the customers often do. So it helps. Plus, you know that it's evidence-based material if it's been approved. Then the next thing we did was, after teaching the coaches business, and then we taught the online marketing mastery, which just duplicated my marketing efforts that work. It works for me and it works for a lot of other people in the business. So we taught health coaches how to duplicate what we did to provide instant results, and even, slow the way that, we'll talk about it later, but the way online business is, that it's really easy sales, for anybody that's ever sold anything from encyclopedias to, being at the low end, and, cars or real estate or anything else at the top end. It can be tough to close somebody. And with online marketing, it's just incredible, because you just nurture. It's just such an easy, pleasant, kind way to do business. You give valuable information over an extended time, and when the customer's ready, they come to you. And so it just makes it all easier. Then what we did after we did the classes was we put everything together in packages, business in a box or a set up business. So people that were just getting started and didn't have a clue how to do anything, which most of them don't. This helps to cut the trial and error by about 10 years.
Yeah, I remember finding you when I graduated from INN. And I thought, oh, wow, this is really great. And then you offered their affiliate program. So, and I realized that a lot of the coaches, really, really, really loved it because it was so easy, in fact, then, because everybody was really looking for that. And you've really, I mean, now going, with the product you have now, it's just, I love it. It's just done and it's beautiful, And so I'm like you, when I came out of IIN, I just thought, oh, what am I going to do with this? And so it was the online stuff that wasn't that difficult for me, but I realized that it was really difficult for a lot of the coaches. They really needed that. Yeah.
Because a lot of people get the technical stuff and they just start crying. I mean, they start working on it for one half of a day and they start crying. It's just hard. And that's the other thing we did was when we got to the point where we were creating huge programs. The first really big program we did or premium program we did was physician weight loss. We call it Healthy Habits. So it could be sold on Facebook, because you have to be pretty careful about what you say. But that was so big that it would have taken a health coach forever to deliver it, by email or any other form. And so we got into the website business. We've kind of found a way to do that without me turning gray, So now, and we've actually just even changed it again in the last month where we've got a combined website with the membership site and the regular site. So it makes a good package and it makes it pretty easy for coaches to get started. And that's what we wanted because coaches get in business and they want to help people. They don't want to sit and run the business. They didn't make themselves a job of running a store. They made themselves a business to help people.
Oh, right. Yes. So how do you keep up with the changes in the industry and what competitors are doing? Even if, we're not really looking at competitors per se, right?
Yeah, we've kind of, that book Blue Ocean Strategy where you set yourself apart and above everybody else. We've done that since the beginning just because that's where we're led, But keeping up, I read probably 2 books a day. I get emails all day long. As a matter of fact, that's why I've got this thing in my ear. I listen to books too. I'm listening to a customer's book. I've got 60 pages left, less than 60 pages left before I interview her. So, yeah. So I read a lot. We get tons of medical and scientific news in the emails every day. I've got you send me something probably 3 times a day that has great information. And we fish through it to see, how substantial the information is and either, make changes to our programs or we put it aside for future use in a program, or a lot of times I'll take it and post it on social media so everybody knows, because things are important. Today. Yeah. I had one today where somebody was being fined $25,000 for supervision. And you and I were just talking about supervision yesterday.
Right.
She supervised somebody who was not allowed to call themselves a doctor. They were a PhD, but they weren't allowed to call themselves a doctor. So it's just, and I talked to Lisa last week about Lisa Fraley, the attorney, and you just got to be really careful what you do.
Yeah, and a lot of PhDs do call themselves doctors, and it's confusing to people who who don't know or don't know the difference,
I think that a
Yeah.
lot of it has to do with intent. If you portray yourself in a way that it's you're not saying MD. If you put PhD on there, then people know that's the kind of doctor that you are. But if you act like a doctor and diagnose and treat like a doctor and you're a PhD, then that's not right. So I think that
Right.
that's all is
Yes.
what comes into it.
Yeah. I mean, the legalities of that exist, so it doesn't. But I think if a client bumps into something like that, it's totally different. Yeah, you have to put yourself out there up front. Can you share some examples of passive income streams that are well suited for health coaches? I know, I used to do affiliate a lot.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Affiliate income is good. There's some people who have products, and I don't know if I consider that passive income because you still have to mess with all of that. Our programs are great passive income. And over the years, I am convinced that anybody who is trying to help the largest number of people and make it the easiest on them to conduct business would be, and this I would think is more residual income, but could be passive income, are the programs that you run online or a membership program where you can sell programs, which it's a lot easier to sell programs than to have one-on-one coaching. The other thing is it's a lot easier to have memberships than to have programs because you're not constantly resubscribing people or reselling something. You get somebody in there once and they continue all the way through. So it's ongoing.
yeah, I know that when I was doing it, it was amazing. I remember I stayed up till about 3 o'clock in the morning because I was West Coast and you were East Coast or in the Midwest.
Well,
And
now you're in
so,
Spain and I'm in Florida.
yeah, and
we
I'm
got
9 hours ahead, so I have.
Yeah, is it
Yeah.
6 hours or 5 hours? I think
It
it's
was
split
6 hours ahead of you. You're right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So going back to the passive income, I find that your courses currently, you're trying to create the impact program, right? And so I think that those really are conducive to creating a kind of a residual income for coaches that want to sell them. So I'm not sure if that's what the plan is or if you're planning that or.
I don't know why I didn't do that sooner. The impact program right now, we're using it. People can add it to programs to make it more suitable to their ideal client. They can take it and they can make their own custom program or membership. Or if they have like natural health immersion and then live your best life, they can take impact and they can add on to it so they could go for years. And so, yeah, I expect that impact, we've got it well built up now with about 100 modules. But I expect over the years, I keep getting topics to talk about. And some of them I think are too big. And that's how we ended up with stress and the heart health in addition to impact.
Yes.
Because I just think that a few little things on heart health would not do it,
Right. Yes, I agree. When I saw that, I thought, yeah.
But yeah, impact can, anything that you do with that you don't have to be 100% involved in is passive income. You turn it into a membership and then it's residual income where it goes on and on and on and on, which is really nice.
How does one sign up for an affiliate account, or is that in place, the new one?
They can sign up on the website in the footer. We have a sign up.
Okay. The next question, I'm just going just to the top of my head as questions come. The course delivery. I am at the moment taking the freebie that you have at 7-day and testing it on my own, trying to create a course, and it seems to work really well. You take bits and pieces for daily steps. And and then the program that I have distributes automatically a badge and then also certificate, that's printed and, automatically. And it works really well. So, but I'm beta testing it right now, but people can't seem to get used to using the app, you know, because
You're
this one
doing it on an
requires an
app?
app. Yeah,
Oh,
I'm doing it in a way where I don't have a choice but to deliver it through an app, this program. So, but
how old are your customers?
they're older than 50, between 50 and I would say
Yeah,
it's 65,
that's
so
you need to have something really easy. Most people over
right.
55 or 60 know how to work an app though, because they have to use that to get to the FaceTime with their grandkids. And
Or medical even. They have to,
yeah,
use it for the medical appointments. And that's one of the challenges that I think the older people have. But then we make assumptions, right? Because they always think, well, Bill Gates, it's like almost 70,
yeah,
he's
there's some people. I set
so
my mom up on different things on hers, and then she's able to use it. I think that that's someplace where a health coach could have a little course. And we did one in 2020 to teach people how to use Zoom, a little course in how to set up the app and, step by step, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If they
yes,
follow directions, then they can do it, or else they can get a child to set it up for them, or a grandchild.
right.
Yeah.
What is your favorite marketing tool? Or where do you begin? Is it email, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube, podcast? You're everywhere.
Yeah.
But
You know
which
the answer
one?
to that because you helped me stay together on the YouTube and Facebook and Instagram and everything.
Yes,
I always say choose the social media platform that your client goes to. The thing is that Facebook is the place that has the largest demographic. If you're working with people in business, LinkedIn is the place to go. If you're using younger or not using, you should use TikTok if you're working with, I guess I was going to use that word no matter what, if you're working with kids or young, very young adults. So it depends on who you're working with. It should not be around what you like to work on. It should be around where you're going to find your customer. But that's not the only way. Email is where, for online marketing, email is it. And the only way that you can email people is if you have their email address. And so the system is you give something valuable to them for at least a short win in exchange for their email address and their name. And then as you build the list, don't let it sit until you've got a nice big list. You've got to start once you have one person on there. You need to start and you need to send a newsletter or a weekly uh, blast of information to them, but you need to nurture them. And that's the whole thing is you have to nurture them. And then when you have something to sell, or if they have a need, then you provide them with what you're selling as an opportunity, or they come to you when they need you. So it's a very gentle way to market, and it is the most effective way to market. But having said that, touch points are important in business, and you need to be in front of, they say 7 times in front of your ideal customer, 7 times. There's so much stuff out on the internet that I say 14 times. And
yes,
so,
yeah, I
yeah. And
agree.
so you might see them on social media. You might, send them a newsletter. You might do snail mail. I like snail mail. I've always liked snail mail because, and especially now because you don't have any competition. Nobody else is using snail mail. It
Yeah,
used to be they'd get 40 things. We'd all get 40 things in the mail and you just toss it fast. And now you get 2 things every other day. And because even bills don't come by mail anymore,
I know it's all on,
so it's a
it's
lot
all
easier.
app on your
Y-
phone app. Yeah,
Yeah. So there's a lot of ways that partnering up, that's actually the most effective, quick way to get people on your list and get exposure to other people's customers who are who have a like audience. And so they don't have the same product. No other health coach is going to partner with you if they're working with 50-year-old women that are having problem with empty nest or whatever it is that they're having. If you both have the same customer and you're doing the same thing, that's not a good partner. But if you are a health coach and there's a gym that is offering, fitness, and you're offering health coaching, that's a good partnership.
Yes. The next thing is, how do you ensure your programs stay helpful and relevant? Do you constantly have
Well,
your ears
yes.
and eyes open for
Yeah, we've
for
changed
changes?
with physician weight loss, we've changed the look of that once. We've changed the information in our 3, 6, 9, and 12-month program a couple of times. As we get new updated nutrition information, we go in and we pull something and put something else in, or mental health advances or that. And then anybody who's bought the program automatically get the update.
That's another question about mental health. Where is the line drawn between therapist, an official therapist, and the health coach? I remember at IAN, they taught us, if someone has a condition, real health condition like a kidney, misfunction or whatever, you need to send them to appropriate channels. But how does a health coach assess mental health?
You know what?
Is
Everybody
there,
gets really confused on what they can do on what topic, and whether it's mental health, cancer, missing classes, uh, obesity,
right,
uh, whatever it is that you're working with, your position is as a health coach to support and provide information, not individual information to them, but you can offer general education to them. But a lot of it goes by what's allowed where you're working. So you need to double check. And that's why having an attorney is really important.
yes,
But absolutely, health coaches do not diagnose and treat. And if a doctor is online working as a health coach, they still cannot diagnose and treat online. At least not right now. I just saw yesterday, that was one of the things I got, was that there's a lawsuit with the United States.
I saw that. Yeah,
Yeah,
I didn't read. I saw the headlines. I didn't click on
trying
it,
to
but
get it back to the way it was in 2020, where they opened up boundaries where physicians could
yes,
work in different locations and across state lines without getting into trouble. And that way they were able to offer, that's the side of the physicians, they're able to offer the better quality health care to people who need it. So a person that's in Florida that doesn't have enough doctors here can get on telehealth with somebody that's in New York.
right. Yes, it's a good idea to change it back to what
Yeah.
2020, because we're in the middle of COVID, right? It really
Yeah.
brought everybody online.
And
And I know I've had a couple of appointments with mine from here, just asking questions about my blood work or whatever. And it's super convenient.
it was really
So,
nice for me because I moved to Florida in 2020. And it takes a while to find doctors that you trust. And I was able to stay with the doctors that I trusted in Nebraska until I established relationships with people here. But it would not be the same now. For people that move, you better get it set up fast.
yes. So the next question is about the growth of your business. In the past, 10 years now or 12 years you've been in business? I've watched you grow, and I'm always thinking, oh boy, this is a superwoman. And then when I see that you're up like at 4:30 in the morning, I'm thinking, why isn't she asleep? You
I
know?
I do work really hard to get enough sleep. I go to bed when it turns dark sometimes just so
Yeah.
that I can get enough sleep.
Yeah. So, how do you plan to grow your business? I know you make 5-year plans, so you always think ahead and you think in advance, which is what you always advise health
Yeah.
coaches do, is to create a 5 and then a 10-year plan even.
Well,
So,
you can make that's the whole thing about business planning. And that's what we try to tell health coaches is that, you start off with and do it right away. When we're doing the business planning course, we have a business plan, which, by the way, Sandy, who coaches the platinum people through it, used it for her university class where she is
nice.
taking
Yeah.
genetics, and she used the building abundance to do her business plan for that. And she got an A+. They said that they had never had a business plan come through as precise as hers was. So it's important. You start out with 1 year, and sometimes you even start out with 10 years first and go back to 5 years when you're first starting out, and then go to your 1 year, so that you end up, and we do this with membership business platforms, is if you start out knowing what you want in the long run, you can make really easy decisions right now because you're making
yes.
For 10
and creating a plan, right? That's why I'm here.
Yeah, that was a good question.
Yeah, it's the
that's
plan,
why you're in
right?
Spain. You made a plan.
Yes, yeah, and it's amazing once you set your mind to it. You just have to go through the process. And it's not easy, because it included leaving and letting go of stuff, because it's just I don't know, it's 20,000 to move everything, and selling stuff. So it's really you really have to think hard about that. But what I was saying is, everything takes a plan, has a plan. And then here, there's a lot of coaches now that are from all over Europe and the United States that are actually moving here. And so there's a community called Coastal Women, and so I found, a few people.
That's one of the great things about health coaching, though, and then setting up a business where you're providing the programs online. And that's what was great for me, because I went from a business where I had to be there. I had to walk into the customer's house, work with the customer there.
Right.
And
yes.
then I couldn't go anywhere else. And I had a son who had moved to England full time and probably never will come back, and his family in England. I had my parents in Florida, and I was in Omaha, and I was ready not just to be location independent or globally independent. I also was ready to make a bigger difference in people's lives, because what I did before made a difference in people's lives, but this saves lives, and it lengthens lives. And you can't do anything more rewarding than being a health coach and providing for health coaches. We get to do 100 times more, because we're 1,000 or 1,000,000 times more, because we're providing it for health coaches who are making such a big difference.
Yes,
I always feel like any of your wins are our wins too.
Yeah, and the industry is growing. I mean, whenever I see just statistics, in Forbes magazine or whatever, they are projecting as just a boom within the next even 5 years. So
it's more accepted. You've got all the doctors saying get a health coach. It makes their job easier. You have people who need it, and they know they need it now, and that makes it easier. So yeah, now is definitely the time. When I first started with this, my husband says you're about 9 years off. And we've been busy, and there's been plenty of people to work with, but truly it has become the point just since the last few years that health coaches are really in demand.
Yeah, and so how does a coach come to you and then purchase a program, and how do you introduce the inner circle to them, the membership?
When we first started the inner circle, it was perfect, because I had a program that I needed to get out over a period of time. And so what I did was I started a membership, and I said, we'll provide you everything that we do this year for this much every month, or this much every quarter. We did quarters. We did a lot of quarters, which are hard to keep track of, anybody that's thinking about doing that. Or we provide an annual pricing, which works. And we still have tons of the same customers that we started off with, which is retention, which is important for you too. But the inner circle now is easy. You just go to our website and go into the inner circle, and you can join. We also give a free month of the inner circle with all of our programs to help, because we have office hours with that where you can go in every week with Amanda, and sometimes I pop in too, and get help with everything that you're working on. And so it makes it easier to start out. So it gives you incredible support. So we give a free month of the inner circle, and then they can continue on. And most people do. And so that's
And
how.
and that
It,
includes the business development, the business abundance, and then
building abundance. Yeah.
the mastermind training. Right. Yes. I know that the business, I mean, both of them are real beneficial. Plus you offer all of those, the creatives for social media. I mean, there's a lot of stuff in there.
Well,
All the videos.
we've got 10 years of video interviews. We've got Marie Forleo and Amy
Yeah.
Porterfield and Jeff Walker and tons of doctors, incredible people that are experts in business and marketing. And it's just, you could just spend forever in there listening to helpful information.
Yeah. I sometimes I think some people that are new to health coaches don't really know the wealth of information that's in the inner circle itself. I mean, it's I'm still amazed when I go in there, and I see what you offer is just incredible. I mean, it's a really, I mean, it's super. I know I'm still in there. I've been with you for about 10 years or so, or
Yeah.
since, for a
You've been
while
there
there
for
I
a
wasn't,
long
and then I
time.
came back. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So I mean, I really appreciate it. So can you share any challenges that you faced and how you've handled them? Either personal challenges that affected your business, or business challenges and how you've handled that, or how you've uh, addressed it, I should say, because everybody comes across, something happens in life, and, like my eyes, for instance, I had to stop working for 6 months until I got that done, so, and I could really feel that, it's so what
That's a
would you
really
say?
good question, because everybody talks like it's really easy to get into business. Everybody that's selling you something make $1 million and then go off to the beach and
Right.
free about it. But a business does take running. You can hire people to run it. I have been lucky because I have hired good people on my team, and so if I break my arm like I did. I mean, I broke it. I don't do it just a little
Right.
bit. I just shattered it.
Shattered it. Oof.
Yeah. And so
Uh,
I couldn't type. And there's a lot of things I couldn't do. I did learn how to use the microphone on everything. But sometimes you just have to take it a little bit easy and get better. But if you have a good team, that makes it easier. Another thing I would say that I don't know if that's the biggest thing that's happened in my business was that, but it did put me out for more than anything I think ever did. We had a lot of things between Gary, my mom, and I last year, but everything went smooth. I mean, it still ran. I think the biggest thing business wise was when we did physician weight loss, we got into the IT business. And, I'm a designer and I'm a health coach, and I've taken tons of courses on all of that, but I am not an IT person. And I
right.
had a
Yeah.
business person set that up with me and an IT developer. And that led me down all kinds. I mean, it was supposed to cost me a certain amount of money to develop one website that we could use to load our programs in and sell over and over. And that took about 4 years to get out of and find an easier way to do it. And thank goodness that was an issue where we found a great partner in Healthy, where they would take any of our customers' programs loaded onto their platform. And it was a great, great deal. And then we developed a website that we could load up for you, put it on your hosting company, and that's just takes all of the IT out of it for us. I don't allow any coding on our sites because of all of that. I learned a lot from that, because any kind of
Yeah.
one person does that another person doesn't know about, or that you haven't adjusted to go with the 10,000 plugins you've got attached to your website can cause
Yes. Yeah.
all kinds of problems. And for a while there, it was like we had not malware hacks all the time. And there was no reason for that. We haven't had one hack since I let go of all the IT stuff. Knock on wood.
Yes.
You know?
And nowadays it's getting easier also to, there's not an awful, in fact, coders now are struggling because that's all they've put their education into. And it's now just basically,
They made
AI.
it easier.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank
Yeah.
goodness.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Ashley and Amanda at our event that we had transitioned from the first IT websites to the second, wanted to bring the computer down and smash it just symbolically to be done with all of that. So
yeah,
that's
I
one
think
thing.
a lot of people are get into
Yeah.
that. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So with all of that, we also have the tech support that we have, and we also allow for technology tutoring or office hours or whatever once a week for our inner circle people and for our platinum people to help them to get through all of that. So that,
Yes.
but then, another thing is that working in building abundance, we learn to hand some things off. It doesn't hurt to delegate something. And during that planning course, we go through and we look at all the things that we want to work on in our business and the things maybe that we're not so strong in, or that we don't want to work on, or that somebody might be better at than you. And you pick what you're going to hand off and what you're not.
Right.
You build that into your budget and into your cash forecast and your profit planning and all of that, so that you can afford to have somebody come in and do that work for you. And I recommend that everybody gives that off, unless it's somebody like you that enjoys doing it, but there aren't a ton of people that do.
Because I always believed, even going way back to my volunteer days for nonprofits, is that I remember running my daughter's school nonprofit fundraising arm, and I thought, okay, a lot of people wanted to volunteer, but they just volunteered in the wrong areas. So we took a piece of paper and asked for people's skills. What are you good at?
Yeah.
and then adjusted the jobs to that person, or to those people. So
I did that when
when
I hire somebody, I'll hire them for one thing, and I see that one time I hired somebody to make raw food for me, raw vegan food, and had her come in because my husband used to cook, and he was going through a thing where he had both of his knees replaced, is what it was. And I hired her to do that, and found out she was a graphic designer, and hired her.
Oh,
to
wow.
do
Yes. Yeah.
So, keeping your ears open and spending some time with the people that you work with and hire, you learn what are people's strong points.
Right. Yes, I agree. So the challenge is basically you overcome it and and keep going. What about a coach who's just ready to give up? How do you pull them back up?
I was listening to that book I told you about this morning, and it was The DNA of Hope. And what she said really made sense. With hope, if and then surrounding yourself with the right people. Because if you've got somebody saying it's not going to work, it's not going to work. I remember when I first started this business, my husband would come to the door of my office and say, "I hate to see you working so hard. Is this we're going to bring in some money?" And it only took me like 3 weeks to make the money. So can you imagine if it's something that's taken 3 years? And you need to be consistent, but you also need to surround yourself with people that will encourage you. And I don't mean that my husband didn't encourage me, because he is my strongest, cheerleader.
Right. Yes.
It'll work out. You'll figure out a way. But, I believe that as long as you work at something that you feel strongly about, things happen. Even if you don't have it happen today, even if you don't happen tomorrow, if you keep going and if you keep working towards those long-term plans, it happens. It just does. And you don't know when it's going to happen, but it does. And if you follow the process, and trust in the process, it just happens.
Yes, that's one of my favorite quotes is trust in the process.
Mhm.
Everything is a process,
Yeah.
Um,
And
and
sometimes
so
it seems hopeless, but it's not. If as long as there's a way, as long as you keep at it, it'll happen.
yes, and sometimes it takes 10 years. I mean,
Well, and
it's it
sometimes you
takes
need to
years.
change the way you're doing things, and that's part of the whole
Yeah,
process too, is analyzing what you did, figuring out what's really working well and what isn't, and don't be afraid to toss something out the window when it's not
and
working.
letting it go, right? Or
Yeah,
don't be afraid to invest in yourself. I mean,
right.
that was a real learning curve for me because I'm known to be very frugal, you know, and so there was a time where I just, I and now I even do that. I mean, investing money in areas that I think are going to help me now. So,
Yeah,
right now
and
I'm
it's
taking it.
good to keep on learning. All of us need to
Yes.
keep on
Oh,
learning for our
definitely.
whole life.
Yes.
But more important than that, to get your health coaching business going, do not be afraid to market and to advertise, because nobody knows you're here unless you do that. Nobody's going to
Right.
come to your door unless you tell them that your door is there and that what you have behind that door is something that's going to help them.
Yes. The one thing that and I think a lot of coaches, and I'm waiting for the health coach group to do something with that because it's video marketing. I mean, it's people keep telling you, put yourself out there. And then, then you think, oh, okay, well, I'm going to have to get dressed. I have to put makeup on. I have to get, look right.
You know what? I don't think you have to get dressed and put makeup on. I think if you go and get on there just at all, they like
you
you
know, and
yourself.
so, yeah. So, and then and you're actually speaking to a camera, really, right? If you're out there, unless you're going live. And so it's the live, ability to go live at any moment's notice, which I think a lot of people are doing. And it seems to be working for them. And my daughter Sarah
Authentic
is,
is the key to
yeah,
that.
exactly.
I see
Yeah.
some people online doing things that just aren't natural. you know?
Right. Or yes, and and my daughter Sarah is great at that, at coming up with last moment memes and going live at any moment. And she does a beautiful job, but she's not trying to build a business,
Yeah,
so
she's a
it's,
drama
yeah.
girl. My granddaughter's good at that too.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So, I'm thinking, that some kind of a marketing class, using live video and actually getting people out of their comfort zone.
Do you know what? We did that the first year of our event in 2000. It's either 2013 or 14. We hired a videographer to come and spend the entire 4 or 5 days with us. And they videoed everything that we did, but we also gave everybody their own little time in the spotlight where they did their elevator pitch for the video. And one of the people that were there, a lot of our customers, everybody that's been to our events are still customers because we've just developed relationships with them. But Lisa Fraley has been to every single one of our events, the attorney, and she's spoken at all of our events. And she was scared to death of video. And if you
Oh,
look at her now, she is like a
yes.
powerhouse on,
Yes.
so it just practice makes perfect, and being authentic, don't get up there if you're not a dance person and dance to get your point
Right.
serious across.
All
Get
the
up there and
yeah.
talk and make but
Yeah.
they do say that dancing gets attention. So if you got something light and airy that can
So you
take
have an
care of that.
event, another event coming up, right? Is that open to
That'll
all
be
health
open for the
coaches?
next month
And
to
that's in
people to sign
October,
up. It's in October and it's the ocean in Florida. So,
right? Wow.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
where we always have it. When we first started having it, I did not live here. I came here with everybody else for the event. Now I live here, so it's going to be a lot easier.
Yes, you get to go home.
Yeah.
Yes. So, in any case, is there anything else that you want to speak about that we haven't covered? The I thought I would ask you, since you're so great at putting out self-care and meditation and lifestyle change, aging, and just a ton of really high quality and really good programs. How do you apply that to your, to, I mean, tell us about how you apply the self-care to your own day. What do you do when you get up first thing in the morning and go through,
Do you know,
all the surprises of the day?
I just changed it because I used to get up and have a double bag of tea, big here. I used to
Oh,
get up
that's
and
like
have
my
that first
coffee.
thing. Yeah,
Yes.
that's English breakfast tea. So I would
Yeah.
start out the day with that. Today I did not do that. I had 40 ounces of water. I drank a lot of water, and before I got started on that, and I'm a big believer in lemon water too. Didn't do that today, but I do that. You can do self-care all the way through. One of the things I've learned from doing the programs is that it's the same things that you need to do over and over, the same habits you need to develop over and over to be healthy. I get out and I walk 2 miles before I do anything in the morning too, because I've got a dog that needs to be walked, and I do it at night
Yes.
too.
That's
And I go to the pool and I run in the pool because I can't run on concrete anymore, but I run in the pool, and I
yeah.
drink water, I breathe. That was one of the best things I learned in the stress program was breathing. And I have
Breathing.
reminders to breathe. I have reminders. If we keep on going too much longer, I'll get a reminder to stand up for a little while.
Yes. My
'Cause-
watch tells me that.
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's
And
time to stand up. Yeah.
I work hard to sleep 8 hours and sometimes a little bit more,
Oh,
sometimes a little bit less. But I sleep in the dark. I don't sleep in the light. And I get sunshine every day. And
yes, which is pretty easy in Florida now.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
The
those are the main things. And it's that food, I have eaten well for 14 years now. I've always tried to, but I learned how to in 2010. So, and turned that all around. So I eat really healthy, and
yeah.
that's it. That's my day.
Yeah. So okay, so thank you. I've learned
Thank
a
you. Thanks
lot
for getting
from
on and
you.
asking questions. It made it a lot easier.
Yeah, I know I veered off the questions, but just as my head started thinking about what to ask,
Yeah,
I
that's good.
thought, okay, yeah. So now we can do this again.
Yeah. And health coaches, don't be afraid to get into business. Don't be afraid to get back into business. Don't be afraid to move your business forward just because you're needed and you're doing a valuable thing. We can't do it for money, but we should make good money doing it. And you can make good money doing it because I know people who are making good money doing it. So,
Yes, I mean I saw the average salary of a health coach on, and it was like 125,000 for a starter, all the way up to 175,000 for a physician's practice. And I thought, wow, that's not bad for a beginner
well, and if
coach,
you get into your
if
own
you're,
business with programs and, the nice thing about programs, you can pick and choose who you work with and when you work and all of that. So,
yes,
yeah,
which is,
there's a lot of potential for buildings and partnerships and yeah.
yes, and even develop a coaching business of your own with maybe 10 coaches,
Mm,
working
yeah.
together
That's a
and using
great
your
way to do it.
programs.
We
Yeah.
have coaches that
So,
get together and run, like the 12-day detox and the slim,
yeah,
sexy, and smart.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I forgot to ask you a question about neighborhood coaches. I mean, I know there are coaches that don't like to market online, or for some reason or another, they haven't had any, you know, satisfaction of working online. And I always suggest, go out and knock on your neighbor's door, you know,
Any way
and
that you can work with, there's a lot of brick and mortar advertising
yeah,
that's totally different. Maybe we'll do another podcast on that.
yeah,
But
churches,
there's a
yeah,
tons of potential for working face to face in groups or individual, and you can work with any kind of partners in your community, your Omaha Chamber of Commerce, any networking groups. there's tons of advertising. You know, the best advertising, I think, is snail mail and small publications, you know, like neighborhood magazines or
Right.
newsletters. And
Yeah, attending local meetings. I mean, you know, you
yeah,
wear
women's
local,
newsletters, talking to
yes,
doctors,
join.
talking to chiropractors, talking to gyms, talking to diet places, you know, any place that you can partner with. And that's how we got started finding customers. I had an $18,000 credit, and it was just the thing that we did every year. And I asked the newspaper if I could use my credit on this new business. I didn't plan on starting it for 6 more months, but I thought, I've got the money. It says it's a deadline on spending the money. He said, yeah, you can use it for anything. So I did.
Yeah,
And we got,
yeah,
the
uh,
newspaper advertising works too, because we've got
yeah,
a lot of middle-aged women, and it might have been my voice and the
right.
way that I stated everything, but we also got doctors, you know, doctors who were
Yes.
open to working with health coaches. So
Yeah, I remember that. So in any case, thank you for this.
thank
This is
you.
fun.
We might
Yeah.
have gone over. No, we stopped.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right. Okay. Thanks. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to the show. If you liked what you heard, please give us a 5-star rating or review on iTunes.